Welcome to the weekend. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute. You're watching Devil's Advocate. So it's primary season. That is, people of their own party like to beat the crap out of each other in the hopes of getting you to vote for them in their party primary. From the Denver Post, Mike Littwin, thank you for being here.
Great to be here.
And from that new blogging site, whosaidYousaid.com, Kelly Maher, thank you for being here.
Thanks, John.
Now,
I want to say that first. Who said you said?
Who said you said?
Now, who said you said? Let's just get this one out on the table. This is a new blog that's mostly video-based blog where you try to get politicians doing embarrassing things on videotape. Would that be the right way to put it?
No.
No?
No, that would be the Jon Caldara way to put it.
What would the politically correct way to put it be?
We are looking for those moments where primarily politicians are unscripted, where they say what they really think. And where they're
talking about clinging to guns and money, or guns and God. That was it.
Guns and God, but
spread the wealth.
Kind of on the other side, yeah. Generally more spread the wealth. John Hickenlooper said he wants to spend tens and tens of billions of dollars on climate change insurance. Senator Bennett said that he thinks that the Tea Partiers are social nihilists or nihilists. He said nihilist,
But it's a great site.
Right.
Lots of fun video clips.
Love it.
Check it out every day, new content.
Yes, new content every day.
And a place to go get old content would be your column now at the Denver Post. And by the way, this is now, we checked the records, the 5th time you've been on my program.
Wow.
And I
can't believe anyone's gone on your program five times.
And we have a special, it's a traditional $25 gift certificate to Supercuts for every person who comes on.
You can't spend $25 in Supercuts, can you?
That would be 3 haircuts for you, and you're about 3 overdue, so that works out. All right, the primaries. We've really got, I think, 3 hot statewide or big primaries, and then a few other local and regional ones. Let's go Senate first. You really, I think, blew the top off of Romanoff getting offers from the Obama administration. Now, the Post wrote about it. What was it, last year, something like that? Last September. But it was your column that really shined the light on it, forcing Andrew Romanoff to talk about what he was offered. What's the background?
Well, Andrew's campaign, the Joe Sestak thing happened in Pennsylvania, and suddenly people remembered that the Denver Post wrote a story last September that no one seemed to care about at the time.
Mostly because it was in the Denver Post.
It was on the front page of Denver Post, and it seemed to get no traction even in Denver. And the talk show guys who are now claiming that Barack Obama should be put in prison for doing this.
Not in prison.
Didn't even mention it.
Just sent back to Kenya. It's a whole different thing.
Didn't even mention it back then. Never came up. So suddenly, though, it's he should be sent to prison for this. But I looked at this. I looked at what Andrew Romanoff saying. I'm not going to say anything about this for the guy who claims to have, his whole campaign is based on the new transparency, the new politician, doesn't take anything from anyone, owes nothing to nobody, that to say, because something is inconvenient, an inconvenient truth, as you might say, that he's not going to talk about it, I thought that was a little hypocritical, so I wrote that.
You wrote it, and that started the floodgates. A few days later, he finally had to come up and say, here's what I was not really offered, but kind of offered.
Danglegate, as I called it.
What do you call it?
Danglegate.
Danglegate. I think I've seen that movie. And we, Republicans...
That was the X-rated version.
That was the X-rated version. That was something our team really loved. Did this hurt Romanoff, or did it hurt Bennett?
I think ultimately it hurt Bennett, particularly once he admitted that he knew it was happening. That's going to make him look like the insider, and this is definitely turning out to be the cycle of the anti-insider.
But Bennett has, what, $1 gazillion. Andrew Romanoff, the underdog, not taking any money from PACs.
Who aren't offering it to him.
Right, exactly.
Well.
And by the way, the Independence Institute does not accept any government money. And so we've really had to turn down a lot of that, as you can imagine.
I don't either.
Yeah. So why didn't Romanoff come up earlier and say this? Because this seems like something that would play into his hand. Why didn't he jump up and say, here's what I was offered? Was he just scared of the Obama machine?
No, it's because the thing about Andrew is, and I really like Romanoff a lot, and I've known him for a long time. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a good guy. But the idea that he's playing this sort of outsider, rebel, storm the barricades, he's not anything like that guy. He's politician who works compromises and, you know, deals with Governor Owens very well when he was House Speaker and Owens was the governor. I mean, that's what he does. He's so, you know, if a guy, you're right, this seemed to fit naturally into the campaign that he was running. They're all crooks. I'm not.
They offered me jobs. I decided to run for this instead.
So why didn't he do that? Because he's not a rebel. That's not who he is.
He's good. I think he's one of my top adversaries because he is good and smart. And
he's articulate.
He's articulate. So why didn't he exploit this?
I think at the end of the day, that's, you know, like Mike said, it's not who he is. Ultimately, if he continues to pound on that, he's going to be exposed as former House leadership. I mean, that everybody who's playing into the anti-outsider or the outsider and the anti-insider rhetoric right now actually has a little bit of inside knowledge anyway, and that's on all of the races.
Does Andrew Romanoff have a shot in this primary against Bennett? I can't imagine that he has much. Even though he's the party favorite, it reminds me very much of Salazar and Mike Miles, where Mike Miles was much more the liberal purist, was it 4 years back, 2 years back, I forget. And
6 years back.
Right? Oh my God.
It was 2004.
Man, you know what that means?
We're old.
You're old.
Yeah.
You are very old.
Go ahead.
But I don't see Andrew really being able to pull this off because he's not the incumbent and he doesn't have the money. Am I wrong?
Conventional wisdom is that he can't do it. And, you know, a lot of what's going to happen in Colorado and around the country is going to be, does conventional wisdom in the way we understood it before Obama was elected and before Tea Parties and before all that stuff, does conventional wisdom still work in the same way? And that's really what we're going to find out. I mean, I would say, yeah, if you looked at history, it would suggest that Andrew Romanoff has no chance against Michael Bennett. He's raised no money. Michael Bennett has a huge amount of money. Bennett's on TV. Andrew can't get on TV. It seems to me that
the president has endorsed the sitting senator, Michael Bennett. How do you fight that inside the Democratic Party? I don't think you can.
I think it's hard. Obama, well, you know, I don't know what his numbers are in Colorado, but
they ain't good.
Well, all we've heard is Rasmussen.
But with his own party.
But the question, in his party, they're good. They're very good in his own party. So in a primary, we're talking about, I don't know. Conventional wisdom is Bennett can't lose. In today's world, we don't know. That's why they play the games.
There's something cool here in that if you asked most Coloradans who your two senators are, you might be able to get Udall and the other one, of course, Bill Armstrong. So nobody knows who Michael Bennett is.
Right.
I don't even think Democrats know who Michael Bennett is. He's never run for an election. Romanoff is seasoned. He's run elections. He's run campaigns. He knows what he's doing. Michael Bennett has a bit of that intellectual aloofness. Does he win?
I think he's going to have a really tough time. You look at his Washington ad where he contrasts Washington, D.C. and Washington County, Colorado, and he looks so stiff. It looks like somebody he paid one of his staffers to take a Carhartt jacket and tie it to the back of a truck and drive around a little bit to make it look like he knew how to do hard work. I mean, the guy isn't going to play, I think, outside of the...
Yeah, but you know, if you look at past candidates in Colorado, it's not like we have a bunch of TV-friendly candidates. I mean, Ken Salazar is terrible on TV. You know, he's been elected to everything in
Have you noticed that ever since the oil spill, he has finally taken off that goofy 10-gallon hat?
Right.
The one that only went on when he went for state office, or was stapled onto his head.
It took Bill Owens about 10 years in public office before he was good on television. I
think if Romanoff raises the money to get on television, then he can win.
I don't think he's very good on television either.
He's a lot more engaging.
He's